Hi everyone, it's Lillian here, and this is truly a spur of the moment Facebook Live. I was busy creating these little treasures for an event I have coming up, and I thought, well, why don't I make them with you? It involves the sweet citrus bundle, and it's just a fun thing. So since I have some more to make, I thought I'd make one with you and you can see how it's done. So let's go down to my desk and let's get this all sorted out here and we'll get started. So this sweet citrus bundle is really neat, and I'm using it with these really amazing little bags. So let me show you the bags. Maybe I'll show you the bags first. So these bags have a clear window and they are food safe, and they have a little sort of gusseted bottom so you can put some three-dimensional things in here. So if we look in here, here's the package. You get 10 bags and you get 5 white ones and 5 of the craft color. So let's bring out craft white. So they look like this when they come. They're really nice and flat. And then it's a Ziploc closure. So you have to open up that closure to put things in. And you also just kind of separate this and give it a little bit of like that. And you can put all kinds of things in. In fact, if you look in, now I forgot to, there is a sample, I believe it's in the Mini Catalogue, of them being used to hold a little gift of ribbon, and I forgot to mark it, so I will have to take a picture of that and show you later. So where do you find these gusseted bags? They are in the annual catalog. They're on page 140. So you have all kinds of, you get your thick papers and that up here, some of your specialty papers like shimmery white and your watercolor window sheets, vellum, all that kind of thing. Then you have some packaging things down here. And these neat little bags are right down here. So you get 10 for $8.25. So that's a pretty reasonable price. So let's put that down, and we've got the bags covered. Let's take a look at the bundle. And just while I'm doing that, I should make sure that I'm actually going live here. So we'll just get the computer all set up like that. So the sweet citrus bundle is found on page 49 of the Mini Catalog. So that's the one that's got the purple cover. And what you have is you have this fabulous stamp set plus the dies, and they plus an embossing folder. So it's 3 things in the bundle. Now I have seen these, especially this part, made into, well, any of your citrus. You can be lemons, oranges, limes, grapefruit, that kind of thing. But this 3 here, that can be coconut as well. So you can see all kinds of potential, and you can see a few samples here and more samples in the index on page 83. So this is what we're dealing with here. And this, and our goal is to make something like this. So let's get started. Just checking the computer one more time here. There we go, we're there. So first off, let's look at what's in the bundle. So we have this great stamp set, which you can see pretty clearly in the catalog. And then we have the dies and the embossing folder. Now, these 2 things work separately and they work together. So that is why it's called a hybrid, because you can do both. So let's just look at the embossing folder on its own. If you run it through with white, you can see, look at the wonderful textures there. It just makes you want to reach out and touch. And of course, I always like to look at the other side as well. And there it is like that. And then you always get a different effect when you use it on your foil papers. any embossing folder. So hi, I see a few people joining. Great, thank you. This is marvelous at this short notice. So it looks gorgeous on the foil too. Now, if you take the dies, particularly this one, you can actually use the dies separately with the stamp. So use the dies to cut out your stamps, but you can use the dies along with your embossing folder and cut out texture and everything all at once. So what happens is your die, you put the smooth side in and you put it in the side that has the label. And how you're going to tell is it's going to kind of just fit right in. You can almost, it's not actually a snap, but it just snuggles right in there. Whereas if you put on this side, it doesn't stay, it slides around. So if it's sliding around, try the other side. And just like that, you've got it. And then I'm going to show you in a little bit, once we've done our stamping, you put your image in there, close it up, get it all centered and run it through, and you get die cut textured images. So here's my little get acquainted sheet that you people often chuckle over. So I did, if you just wanted to cut the fruit out on its own, you could do it like that. You could sponge if you wanted. Here I stamped and then cut, and then we've got the embossing on the edge, but that was likely scrap paper in this particular case. You also get dies for the flowers, so there's a stamp for it. You get dies for the leaves, so you get two of these two, and then you get dies for these guys right here. So lots and lots in this bundle. So you might be saying, this is got me curious, but I don't know exactly how this is all going to go. So let's get started. First off, you can use either a clear block. I'm going to use the Stamparatus today. I just find it easier to line things up, and because I'm going to be doing many of the same thing, I can leave everything in place. So I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white paper, and I'm going to put it right there. I just have a little mark so that I know that I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to use my magnets to hold it down and keeping them nice and far apart. Now I'm going to bring in my stamp set. And I like to do the outside image first. For me, that's easier. So we're going to take that and we're going to make sure it's going to fit on the paper and pick it up with our arm here, our plastic arm. And now we know that every time we put it down, it's going to hit the same spot. So I'm just going to grab another case to give me a little bit of support. And I'm going to I'm going to use Daffodil Delight today. So I'm going to ink this up like that. Bring it down and rub all over. I forgot to bring a tissue. Let's see, do I have one here in the drawer? Oh, I do. My friend Rhonda made me this little thing, and it comes in very handy. Why am I doing this? It just slides easier, that's all. That's the total reason. Now let's lift that up. And that looks pretty good. This slid just a smidge there. So I don't think I need to do that again. And now I am going to bring in my other arm. And because I'm putting this in the same spot every time, I can do multiples like crazy. So now I'm bringing in this one, and I am going to position it where I want it. So it's going to fill in the center there. And let's pick that up. Now, I don't want this as dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up like that. And then I'm just going to throw a piece of scrap paper in there. And I've been using this before, so I know that that fits. and just stamp it once to take one layer of the ink off. And now it's going to be a shade lighter. So let's put it there and rub that in. And just like that, I have the stamping done. So now to clean that, I would use my chamois, but for right now, I'm going to do that later. Move that out of the way. So now we've got it like that, and we're going to bring in, wherever I put it, there it is. We're going to bring in the die and the embossing folder, because this is what kind of blows my mind with hybrid embossing folders. How do you get everything lined up if you're wanting to do a full meal deal? So I've got my die here. I know that this is going to go approximately there, and I'm just resting it there. And then I'm going to close it up, and you might say, well, how do you know it's lined up? You don't yet. Then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to maneuver the stamped piece around until everything is lined up. And I'm in the wrong spot. There we go. So just like that. And because I'm holding it lightly closed, the cutting thing just stays in place. So can you see how that's all lined up now? It's ready to go through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Now this, you do have to use the big one. And what you're going to use, because it's a 3D embossing folder, you're going to use platform number 1. Need a little more space here. And then the specialty plate number 4, nothing else. So we're going to put them in here like that and run it through, and it's going to emboss and cut everything at the same time. It's just like magic. So let's move this out of the way so it's not so high for you. And take it apart. Oh, I missed cutting that piece right there. I'll get that later. But if that does happen to you, what you can do, which it hasn't happened before, I must have had it off kilter somehow. Let's put it back in here. If that happens, but we don't even need that. What you can do is you can put it back in, and you can feel it just snap in, and you can run it through again. Maybe I should do that for you so you can see how that works. This time I'm not embossing, so I need a regular platform again. And I'm going to bring in my regular layers, so 2, and then my clear plates. And I'm just going to put that down, and it's going to be snapped in. Sorry, out of camera there. You can feel it fall into place, and I'm just going to cut it one more time. I must have had something out of whack when I was doing it before, because I've been doing this a lot and it's been working perfectly. And then just like that, we have the little lemon wedge. So that's a way of fixing it. All right, so let's start to work on our bag. You do now have a choice. You can leave it white on the edges like that, or you can ink the edges up so that it looks like that. And that's going to be really just a personal choice. And we're not even going to use this big one, but let's do that for these 3 here. Bring in some scrap paper and my Daffodil Delight and a blending brush. And I'm going to press harder around the edges and just blend in that white edge so it sort of looks citrusy all the way through. And you can go into the middle if you want, but I'm going to just do it like that. There we go. It's always interesting to do things on camera. Things don't turn out quite as perfectly sometimes as you would like, but you know what? It's all good. So now, did you notice in the mini catalog they brought in a new size of the blending brushes? I've talked about them before. The handles are the same size, but the brush part is different, and they're just a little bit smaller, so it's handy for getting into small spaces. So now let's build. Where are we at here? Let's build our little, we have a little bit more stamping to do. We'll bring this in, and because it's photopolymer, we still want to have that sponge, and we're going to bring in Granny Apple Green and do some leaves as well while we're here. So we're going, I just re-inked this so it's nice and dark like that, and I know that I want 3, and then I'll cut them out. And because the dies have 2 leaves, I can cut 2 at a time, so it works out beautifully. And I did some of that ahead of time because you've seen me cut before. So we've got some done like that. And let's bring in this here, and let's build our little focal point for our treat bag. So our treat bag, I had chosen to put the lemons down here. So we're going to, I'm just going to put that there so I can look at it and do a little cheating. I'm going to build it on here just because for me, it's easier. And I want to have this under like that. So I'll put a bit of adhesive right here on this corner that's going to overlap, and because I'm using my silicone mat, doesn't matter if the glue oozes out or whatever. And I'm going to have this go like that, so I'll do this. So it's looking okay, but it's lacking a little something. The leaves make all the difference in the world. I'm going to put just a bit of adhesive there and tuck it in there, and I'll do another one so it just looks nice and fluffy and full there. And we'll do one more on this side over here. You're noticing I've got lots there. Yes, the event I'm doing, I need several of these, so I'm getting ready ahead of time, and thanks to you, I'm making one with you. So I could make that go up. We'll just not worry about it. So there, we're going to put that to the side, and now we're going to bring in our little bag. Now, when I made the first one, I used white and stamped the flowers on here. I made a boo-boo here, so that's why that is stuck down. Then I started to play around a little bit and experimented. Got too many things going on. And took some of our crumb cake paper, and so on the crumb cake, this was the white, this was crumb cake, and this was Versamark. And I could use any of those. I'm going to use the crumb cake this time, just for a little bit different look. And we'll bring that in. Once again, we're going to bring in a foam mat to stamp on, just because the photopolymer doesn't have, stamps don't have any cushion. And you just get a better image. So I'm definitely stamping this before I put anything in it. I want it to be nice and flat. And just scatter flowers, and it just adds some interest. And I think, you know what, I think I'm going to put a little bit on the back too, just like that. There we go. So now we've got it like that, and we are ready actually to start to build our bag, but we need a tag. So when I was making this one, I thought that I would like to use the Essential Tag Punch, because this one is free during celebration. It's also in the annual catalog, so it's a different number during celebration, but you can order it. You can either pay for it and use the annual catalog number, or you can get it free with a $60 order, but use the celebration number for that then. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some scrap paper and the Thanks a Bunch stamp, which is right from, again, the Sweet Citrus. It's right here, Thanks a Bunch. And we'll do that with black. Like that. There we go. We'll bring in our punch. And there we've got it done like that. Now I thought that it needed a little bit of interest, so what we'll do is we will clean one of our flower stamps and bring the Daffodil Delight back in. And I just want it lightly in the background, so I'm going to stamp it off and I forgot to stamp that one off. That's okay. And then in the stamp set, you get a couple of little dots. And this one here is for the center of the flower. The other one is to do the grouping of flowers. That would this one here. So they've thought of everything. So now we've got that done, and we are ready to assemble. So let's bring our pieces here. Now before we assemble, we have to put something in the bag, right? And because I am doing lemons, and it's really helpful if you kind of open the bottom like that as well. I'm doing lemons, so I am bringing in some lemon thriller tea. We'll put a couple of those in. Slide them right down. And then I went and I picked up a few citrusy kind of candies, and we're going to put them in as well. Now, has anybody found the page number where you see these bags? I believe it's the white one, and it has ribbon, pieces of ribbon in it. Let me know if you find that page. I meant to have it handy and I forgot. Now we've got the Ziploc closure here. This is all food safe. I could have just put a cookie in there if I'd wanted. So we've got it closed like that. And what we're going to do now is bring in what we've just made. Was this one right here, right? Now there's bevel here because we've got 3-dimensional stuff in here. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to put dimensionals in a line this way so that the other pieces can be up. They're not going to be forced to be going in a direction they don't want to go. So all I'm going to do with my dimensionals is take likely 2, and I'll put one towards the top and one towards the bottom. And you see how easy it is to work with this piece now that we have got it all assembled, and we did that on the silicone mat. It makes a world of difference. So then we can decide how to, and I'm sort of aiming to put the dimensionals on this raised part, and we'll put it right like that. And we're going to put this on. We'll do that in a minute. We're going to add the ribbon first. The ribbon is the black and white gingham ribbon. This is from the annual catalog. And we're going to wrap it around. Now there are little notches here, so it's perfect for twine as well, but it will catch the edge of the ribbon and help hold it in place. So let's tie a bow. You could tie a knot, whatever. A bow makes it easy to get in and out. And you can skip this step altogether if you want. There we go. Bring in my ribbon scissors. So we've got it like that. And then I'm just going to fasten this on with a glue dot. But before I do, I was also playing around with the idea, because I had made a mistake on the first one, of using the conversation bubbles. And so this would work well too. So, well, why don't we do that? We'll use this one on here. And then you can see the difference. So we will bring in our adhesive. I should have used adhesive sheets on this, but I didn't. I should have also done this before I put the goodies inside. So you might have to hold it for a few minutes. Not a few minutes, a few seconds. There we go. We've got the frame there. So when I stamp this and cut it out, the die actually cuts out this shape and this shape all at the same time. I could put that on dimensionals, couldn't I? As you can see, I'm making this up as I go along with you. So thank you for bearing with me. And again, I'm going to put them top and bottom so they're not trying to follow the curve of the bag. And there we go. So just like that, we've got it done. And here is the original one. So here's the question for you. Do you like it better with the essential tag, or do you like it better with the conversation bubble? Obviously, it doesn't have to be thank you either. You could make it whatever you wanted it to be. But these stand up perfectly, and they look so cute on a table, on a co-worker's desk, in a kid's lunch, or for any kind of event. If you were having a spring event or a baby shower or bridal shower or whatever, these would work just perfectly. So thank you for joining me, the spur of the moment here, and I definitely will be sharing more projects with these. If you are wanting to check these items out, remember you can always shop online at my website. This is the hostess code here, or you can contact me or contact your own demonstrator if you have one. If you don't and you have questions, I'm always glad to help you. So thank you so much. Take care and have fun. Bye-bye.